Let's go ahead and bring in NBC News medical contributor Dr. Nahid Bhadelia. She's also an infectious diseases physician and director of Boston University Center for Emerging Infectious Diseases Policy and Research. Doctor, we just spoke there to Morgan Chesky about this vaccination standoff. And my question is to you, should hospitals be requiring employees to get vaccinated, and specifically, patients-facing staff? I mean, we're talking doctors and nurses. Should this be a requirement?
Morgan, this is a tough position, but I'm going to start by saying that healthcare workers, when we sign on for our jobs, when we take our oaths, the first thing that we say is first, do no harm. And in this case, the trouble is that healthcare workers, as you said, particularly those that are patient-facing, are at greatest risk of potentially passing on a COVID infection, particularly because we know that half of these transmissions with COVID-19 happen in people who don't have symptoms, to some of the most vulnerable people, patients whose immune systems may not be strong enough, that even after vaccines, they may not be able to mount enough of a response. And so that's why I think it's a bit of a concern. And you've seen, this is not just limited to COVID-19 vaccine. You've kind of seen over the last 5 years or more, hospitals are actually making flu vaccines a requirement for work in many areas as well, for the same reason that we need to protect our patients and give the family members of our patients some sort of semblance that we'll be taking care of them and keeping them from harm.
And doctor, it's interesting when you talk about do no harm and really protecting these patients, because the Biden administration is announcing their new global vaccine strategy. So my question to you is, given that the FDA also just approved extending the shelf life of this Johnson & Johnson vaccine from 3 to 4.5 months, who needs these doses most? And how would you suggest that our government goes about getting it to those people?
Morgan, I've been excited to see this announcement, both purchase to get the vaccines out globally, but also the donation, the 80 million that have been committed so far. So Johnson & Johnson's vaccine, the actual number that we're talking about is quite small. It would be great if that could be part of the donation packet as well, because it's more easily storable. You can get it out there with greater efficacy because it's one dose, and so you don't have to have a same kind of follow-up. However, it's a small drop in the bucket. I think that the commitment, the 500 million that we've heard about, as well as what the U.S. will be able to do by pressuring the rest of the G7 countries this weekend at the summit because of their leadership, is going to have a huge impact in getting the rest of the world vaccinated.
Dr. Nahid, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise. We appreciate it.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.